Welcome to a bittersweet to whatever's way up. I am your horror hope. I have one of my co-hosts today, Jesse, the professional cynic here.
Hello. Not so cynical today. This is a sad episode, unfortunately.
I know. I'll try and make it a very positive episode. And then today we also have one of my favorite returning guests, the man I adore, Daryl Dillard here. Say hello.
No, thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
I always love having you on. You are fantastic. Now,
Mhm.
before we jump in, I'm curious. I know for a while with the writers' strike and the actors' strike and all, you were a little, hiatus from everything. But is there anything you can spoil or leak about what you have upcoming for yourself? Or
Um, there is a new series or new season of Tyler Perry's series that will be coming out, I think, in a month. I will be on an episode of that guest starring.
nice.
Oh, there you go.
That's
Congrats.
So,
awesome. I know
yeah,
I
thank
know
you.
Daryl was unable to be on our best of this past year, but I did mention him. He is the
Mm.
famous podiatrist of
Pain hustlers.
of
Pain
Pain
hustlers.
Hustlers. So,
Yes,
uh,
the partying podiatrist. That's what it is.
Mm.
guys, it was great. I have spread the word of the podiatrist to everybody. You can watch Pain Hustlers on Netflix. It's great, and Daryl's part is fantastic.
But thank you. Thank you.
However, we are not talking about that today. I know everyone in the media has seen the unfortunate news of an icon passing, Carl Weathers, and I know you all wanted to pay tribute. I know I reached out to Daryl because he did like a little tribute thing to this icon. I'm wearing my Do the Magic Hand Thingy Baby shirt that he, and I have my baby Grogu in the background because his more recent role was phenomenal. And, Jesse's always been a fan of his as well. So we thought, yeah, we should do
Mhm.
this for sure. We need to talk about Carl. There's
Yeah.
no way we can ignore this. Um,
Yeah.
Who rewatched some material from him last night? Who rewatched stuff?
I know not last night, but I know I've rewatched some stuff. I did more of his TV stuff for
Oh
me
yeah.
personally.
Arrested Development.
Yeah, yes.
You don't want to throw that bone away. There's still some meat on it. You throw this into some broth, put it in a potato. You got stew.
Yeah, Stu. Best
Oh
role
god.
ever of him just being so frugal. Uh the one of the favorite things is the intro when Tobias meets him and he's like, "Oh, where are you going, Mr. Weathers?" "Well, I'll tell you where I'm not going because if you get bumped, you get $300. And guess what? I'm getting $300." And then he's like, "Oh, I've always wanted to act, da, 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 and I only have this $1,100 to go to this plane flight." Carl Weathers is like, "You know what? $1,100 is the exact amount for my acting class. Huzzah!"
Ah, Jesus Christ.
like
Oh
just
man.
his that's why I said I want to make this positive because I loved his role on that. And it was him playing like an alternate version of himself, which is fantastic.
I always love it when actors are willing to send themselves up like that. Like there's a bit, it's in what's that show? Life's Too Short with Warwick Davis, where Val Kilmer shows up and they're talking about doing Willow 2, and Val Kilmer runs up a massive tab at a restaurant. And he's like, yeah, I just gotta go get my wallet real quick. And then Warwick Davis is like, I think he just pulled a runner, and he hands him the bill, and it's like huge. Val Kilmer just tuck off, sticks him with the check.
Oh, poor
Oh,
Warwick.
oh yeah. Willow, the series, you can never watch it ever again. Anyways,
Talking about Carl.
mm-hmm.
Daryl, what are some of your more favorite or iconic roles of Carl Weathers that you loved or really stick out for you the most?
For me, I mean, it's all the obvious ones are the Rockies and everything, but he also did In the Heat of the Night.
Mm.
Um, took
Mm.
took over that series, and then Action Jackson,
I was
Oh
gonna
yeah.
say Action
which
Jackson.
that's I love that, but I also love the fact that he was able to, because he had all those, serious roles, tough guy roles. Then later on, he's just being funny and that's having a good time,
Yes.
which kind of solidifies the rumors of him being such a giving person and always willing to do whatever. So I think it was nice that he could develop into other things and do other things and enjoy himself.
Mhm.
And the people that he worked with wanted to work with him time and time again, as you
Yeah.
saw later on.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you could
So
you could tell like he took every role and ran with it cuz I was watching something about one of his first roles. I he was supposed to just be a bit part and he just like stole the show,
Mhm.
yeah,
and
yeah,
he, he was just so great. Like I said, the fact that he could poke fun of himself, the fact that he could take serious roles, it and in his later years with The Mandalorian, he won so many awards and everything, not just for his acting, but for his directing. Like it was great. Like I was like, "Holy crap, that's awesome." That he just
Mhm.
like I saw this one interview with him and he's just like, "Well, yeah, I love doing this. This is great." But the fact that I'm a part of Star Wars, like the fact that I'm reaching so many fans, the fact that they actually care, the fact that they actually want to see this, and I'm getting he was like, "This is the dream come true." He's doing everything and it's wonderful. Again, same thing with The Mandalorian. He was supposed to be a bit part, and he
Mhm.
just again stole the show.
They kept bringing him back.
They kept
Yeah.
bringing it back.
Yeah. I also
yeah.
appreciate the fact that I think part of the reason he was cast in The Mandalorian in a Star Wars TV show, there's a bit in the Attack of the Clones Plinkett review where it's discussing why is Sam Jackson in Star Wars as Mace Windu, and Plinkett points out there's so many other better choices for actors that are more appropriate for this role. And Carl Weathers is one of the photos that comes up, and it's like I want to see the universe where Carl Weathers was possibly cast as Mace Windu. That feels more his speed. Sam
Yeah.
Jackson, I've always said he's a good actor, but he's only really good when he's yelling at people or punching people. And Carl Weathers is more of a subdued character actor. More he's more malleable as a performer on screen. So
Yes,
I
even
kind of
so.
would like I'd like to see the universe where Mace Windu was played by Carl Weathers. So I think somebody saw that at Lucasfilm and said, why don't we put Carl Weathers into this Mandalorian TV show? Let's put him in. We can't escape the Plinkett stuff. So let's go ahead and toss him in and see what everybody says. And hey, look at that. It works. He's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Jackson is he's good. He's very good at what he does,
Mhm.
but he's angry all the
Yeah.
time. Even when
Yeah.
he's thinking, he's angry. So
Yeah.
I think Carl has, like you say, is more malleable. He has more levels to him, and he's he's a more cerebral actor
Hmm.
because he has that time. He can be still and have those things, and some actors don't have that. But
Yeah.
and especially, I mean, he's one of the, I guess you can say, one of the best ex-football player actors we have out
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention that, I know it's a huge thing, especially nowadays, for the wrestling community to dip into acting. It's getting I mean, wrestling is half acting, so, I mean,
there.
it's not that much of a leap, but he's one of the few people to actually act from a sport, which I think is really interesting. Usually you see, like, singers go to acting or, like I said, wrestlers but you never really see an original sports football player turn
Yeah.
brilliant
Yeah.
actor. Like, that was a huge leap, and I think that's crazy. Like, that in and of itself was super cool.
Yeah.
You have a lot of uh, athletes go to acting. You don't have a lot succeed the way he did and have the
Right.
longevity. because when he was coming in, you had I believe he was coming in around the time Bubba Smith, Dick Buckus were doing their beer commercials. You know, they were kind of crossing over, but they were caricatures.
Yeah.
And
Right. Like how you
he
see like
did,
the Peyton Manning do his like Allstate commercials or whatever. Like you see a lot of like commercial ads, but not like
yeah,
acting you know.
yeah, yeah, and even Terry Crews. You know, he is
Yeah,
comedic,
yeah.
Yeah,
but you know, it's all about his look.
exactly. Like
He
I
plays
love
he plays up how big he is. Like
right.
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
joke. Yeah.
Like
So
I
yeah,
love him on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but again, half of what he does is like just because he's
yeah,
so big, like he like slammed a door and broke the ceiling and they're like, "Holy crap," you know? Like that. So it's playing on his characteristics, not necessarily his acting skill like Carl.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I saw an
Carl came
interview.
in.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, I just say he came in. I felt more serious about it
Oh yeah.
because you know, he's a you know he's in shape, but he's not the behemoth that the others were either.
Yeah.
But
I
he
don't
came in
know.
with serious. I mean,
We
he's
we
not
have
small.
we have the
He's not small.
Oh, the
the
meme?
the
The Predator meme?
meme
Yeah.
with
No,
Dutch and him just
yeah. The making of Predator, Carl Weathers was interviewed about that, and there's a great like hour-long documentary that's on the Blu-ray for it, and it's on YouTube. I think somebody just posted it. Um, they talk about how all the rest of the big members of the cast, like Jesse Ventura and Schwarzenegger, they wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym for an hour and a half, have breakfast, and then go to set. Carl Weathers stuck with that for about 5 days and said, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." He was like, "I can't do this. Hell no," because they were shooting out in the jungle. It was hot as
Oh
fuck.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
making of
yeah,
Predator is like a fiasco. It is a train wreck of production, and somehow they still pulled that thing out of the fire, and it's one of the best action movies ever made. I was actually rewatching that last night, and it's amazing how he starts out being this kind of like charming guy because he's supposed to be. He's tricking these special forces members to doing the dirty work of the CIA,
Right.
and then he sacrifices himself at the very end. He turns on a dime in
yeah.
midway through that movie. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
that's a good role.
I was gonna say that's one of his better roles. That was, and again, kind of switching back to
I
Arrested.
forgot how quickly he gets killed off in that movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say
He's like gone.
switching
Yeah,
back to
yeah, he
Arrested
doesn't last long.
Development. Like they kept showing that scene with him and his gun, like you
Oh, when he
know,
gets his
like
arm
Yeah,
shot off.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
him showing out an
The-
Arrested
the-
Development, and you know, it just
they show
cracked
just
me up.
enough not to get hit by the sensors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they would always like Ron Howard being the narrator. He's like, and actor Carl Weathers with his thing, and they would clip to that, and then they would go
Always shows it. Yeah. Oh my
every
god.
single time. It's so iconic. They just
Mm. Not the best directed scene of that movie because I for the longest time could not tell. Did he get his arm shot off? Because it
yeah.
was because when it was
well,
originally
because it was
shown on
shot.
VH
Yeah,
when it was shown on VHS, it was in 4:3 letterbox, so it was cropped in. So you couldn't
Mhm.
tell, like, did he fall to the ground or is his arm? And then when you see it on Blu-ray, it's in widescreen, so then you see his arm is like just blown off. It's like, okay, now I
Yeah.
see now. Yeah, you can easily see that he's hiding his arm behind his back and just has the prosthetic. Yeah, there's a lot of problems in Predator. That movie usually loses. I usually get less interested in the back half of the movie because it starts out as an ensemble, and then once everybody's gone
Yeah.
and it's just Schwarzenegger, it's like, oh, now it's just a Schwarzenegger vehicle. Okay,
Yeah.
it
yeah,
becomes less
yeah.
interesting in the last act of the movie.
Cause you lose the charm and charisma of Weathers, man.
Yeah, that film's all about the characters, and when the only person left is the guy that's dull and stoic, it's less interesting. Just you have
What
a
what
block of wood versus a fucking rock. It's like, it's not interesting.
I think by the time you get to that, from that to the end, if you count them, I believe there's maybe 20 words
right.
Yeah,
by
there's
the
not much
time that
dialogue in the
he's
back half of
come
that
to,
movie. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. A lot
What is
of
it
bad
with
one-liners, and that's it.
I was about to say, Daryl, what is it with you coming on here and talking about Schwarzenegger films? Like
You know,
Well, don't we have the summer of Schwarzenegger coming up at some
Yeah,
point this year?
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
you have to come back for the summer of Schwarzenegger. But
It just so happened to work out.
we will not do End of Days again, I swear.
Oh God,
Okay.
no,
All
no,
right.
no, no
Yeah.
more of that.
Yes.
No more of that. The
Yes.
good stuff. The
It's
early '90s
it's all
backwards.
yeah. It's always interesting to watch those and see just how bad these special effects were and everything.
I know.
It's just
Mm,
just they're just horrible. And you watch them, it's like, how did I not? How did I believe this? How did I?
mm,
Because it's all we had at the time, though,
yeah,
I
So
know. I know. It was great at the time. It was
yeah.
fantastic.
just,
Well, look up the original design of what the Predator originally looked like. That footage is on YouTube. Oh, it's bad.
yeah.
It looked like
Is
it
that
looked like
the?
a bug.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's really really ugly. And it was Jean Claude Van Damme in the suit, and he said, "Yeah, I'm not doing this," and he quit.
Oh, oh,
I mean,
Yeah.
that would have
speaking
been
of
bad.
technology, though, and crazy roles, like I said before, Carl was mainly an actor. It wasn't too much so until The Mandalorian, where he stepped into the director spot.
Hmm.
He even they say he directed himself to his awards. Like he
Yeah.
you know, it was he took it and ran. He went from football player to actor to director. He won so many accolades for that. And like I said, with the technology, The Mandalorian, like I liked the episodes he directed because it was better than arm getting shot off and arm behind back.
Yeah.
But he also, if you can tell in some of the episodes he directed, he relied heavily on practical.
Hmm.
He didn't he knew, I think, from working on things like Predator, he knew, like, hey, we can't just rely on all this. Like, we
Yeah.
know this is character driven. Let's go with character driven. And that's why he was so praised for his episodes, and like some of my favorite episodes he did because of that. Cuz dude's a smart man. Like,
Hmm.
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, he was following through with what Werner Herzog said in those earlier episodes of The Mandalorian. He's they were originally going to CGI in Baby Yoda, and he was like, "Do not do
Don't
CGI, you
don't be a
cowards."
coward. Yep.
Yeah, originally they were going to do CGI, and then Werner Herzog said, "Don't do that." And by the way, Werner Herzog, he says he's never seen a single Star Wars movie. Never seen Star
I
Wars.
believe
So,
it.
yeah, I believe it. But he's great in those episodes. For the 3 episodes he is before he gets killed off, that annoyed me. It's like, seriously? All right.
Well, I would say he that I always thought, like, I want to see the baby wasn't actually in the script. I feel like that was just Werner saying, I want to see
Yeah.
the baby.
Yeah, I don't know what was scripted and what wasn't, but I feel like that was a good choice if that was all improv. That
Right.
was became one of the greatest memes for the longest time. But yeah,
Well, I
his
think also when
no, go ahead, go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say that it's the idea of minimalizing all of that and having the people there. That's why you get those episodes that everyone loves so much because you
Yeah.
connect to it more. And
Yes.
as an actor, you connect to it more because you're not looking at a spot on a wall
Hmm.
Yep.
trying to pretend that it's there. So I think he's smart enough to know that's what works and what's going to get you where you need to be.
Yeah. That's where you can see the money is on screen. That's where you can see the efficiency of it. It's like compared to like the prequel Star Wars, where like where'd the money go? Well, it went into the CGI, but the CGI didn't age very well, so the money's not really on screen after the theatrical release.
Yeah.
Yeah, Attack of the
Yeah.
Clones probably aged the worst of the three. But I would say that in terms of his directing, like it's kind of like it's kind of like Star Trek, how they would hire actors to come in and direct episodes, and it's
Mm.
like, yeah, we're all just like one big group of people, and we all just work on the same stuff. Yeah, give them a shot directing. Let's see. It's like a testing ground for actors to become directors. It's a means of like in Star Trek, Roxanne Dawson, who played B'Elanna Torres on Star Trek Voyager. She's not even in the shows anymore. She still directs episodes of Star Trek because everyone is just a big tight knit community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the same thing with Star Wars now. They bring in the same people to direct all the same stuff because there's this community of people that love to work with each other, and everybody loved working with Carl Weathers.
Yeah, I mean, he directed more than just obviously more than just Mandalorian. He did a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
TV spots. Like it would be like one-off directings for like a bunch of different things. I
Well, they
mean,
always have different directors for these
oh
episodics
yeah.
a lot of
Like
times.
Law
Mm,
he did Law an episode of Law and Order. He did a couple for Chicago Med. Like so
mm,
he was starting to dip his toes, more so into
yeah.
directing and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we've made it this far and nobody's mentioned Happy Gilmore yet.
cuz you
Jobs.
save the dessert for last, Jesse.
Yeah. 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 Well,
Oh
and
god.
Happy Gilmore, and didn't wasn't he his same character was in Little Nicky
He was,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
before.
another little tight knit group of people where they all kind of just come
Yeah.
back and it's like just
Yeah.
friends of friends. They all show up. Like friends of Sandler show up. Like apparently there's a weird friendship between Adam Sandler and Quentin Tarantino. I don't know how that happened at all. Tarantino is in Little Nicky. He is in it. He is the blind preacher that runs into the fire at the end. He's in Little Nicky. I don't know how that relationship came to be. I don't know. I don't get it. It exists.
Well,
It's
if
there.
you're in the group, if you're in the group and you come up at the same time,
Yeah,
that's part of it too. Because Quentin was coming up, Adam was coming out of Saturday Night Live. You have them all kind of in the same group.
that's true. That's true.
So once you have your like every group is like their own frat pack kind of
Hmm.
group of actors that come up together that
Yeah.
kind of meld together and start doing stuff. And Adam, to his credit, I mean, he keeps everyone the same. Like he doesn't work with anyone
Oh,
that he
Oh yeah, it's the
absolutely
same
won't
people
work.
every time. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably why he was originally meant to be cast in *Inglorious Bastards*. He was supposed to play Eli Roth's character, the Bear Jew, the guy that
mm,
beats the Nazi to death with a baseball bat. That was originally supposed to be Adam Sandler.
What?
And his
I
schedule
couldn't.
conflicts. I think it was schedule conflicts. I can't remember what movie it was, but he was unavailable at the time.
damn. That would have been
So yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah, somebody deep faked it on YouTube. It's available. Back when deep fakes were still a big thing. Until AI took over. Thanks a lot. But yeah, that was somebody deep faked it, and it's interesting. I don't know if it necessarily would have been the right role for
Hmm.
him, but it's interesting.
Now, I will say what
Yeah.
is interesting is towards the latter half of his career, he started to do a lot of voice acting.
Yes, yes.
Um, it kind of started with I'd probably say Toy Story. He did a rip
Oh, Combat Carl.
Mm,
kind of like a rip off of his Predator character.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's his Predator character, Dylan.
And then which was fantastic, but he also did shows like he did like a couple guest spots in Regular Show. Loved
Mm.
that. And then I never saw this show, but he was also in Star versus the Forces of Evil. He was a recurring character on that.
Mm.
Again, I never saw it, but I saw like little clips of it, and again, he just even voice acting stole the show, you know?
yeah. He's very
Mm.
distinctive and he sticks out. And he sticks out because of the honesty of it. To me.
Yeah, yeah. He also had a couple of video games as well. He was in the Mercenaries game as one of the main characters. I love that. Again, playing another version of his Predator character.
Like,
So
he doesn't mind making fun of himself, though. It's
yeah,
great.
that's what was great.
No.
Yeah, just had a great time. Just and it's. I remember seeing an interview with him. I think it was a couple years back. He said he didn't really want to be a movie star. He wanted to be a working actor. Just a guy that's just you know you know, pounding away at the anvil, just like going in, doing a
Mhm.
role, getting your paycheck, and moving on to the next thing. Like, didn't want to he wasn't interested in like the limelight, being stuck in like the big roles, something like that. Like, I mean, obviously, we have to talk about Rocky, which was his big
Yeah.
claim to fame. That's the thing that
Yeah.
boosted him up a massive amount. He was in the first 4 Rocky movies, and they constantly kept coming back to him over and over again, referencing him. And then they do the Creed series, so that
Yeah.
directly ties into him as well. Uh, he never wanted to actually. He sometimes would get lead roles in films. A lot of those weren't great. I mean, we did mention Action Jackson. I would never say it's a
Yeah.
great movie. it's
No.
it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fine. But I would never. It's clearly kind of like him trying to imitate a Sylvester Stallone or an Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle, and it's not working as well because it doesn't feel like his thing.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
but it was a time. It was a time of
Excess.
of the world that everyone was doing that. Where we need more, and anybody who had close to the size was going to get an action movie because
Yeah.
everyone was
yeah,
doing them at that time.
Yeah. If you had muscles and a six pack, you would immediately get cast as an action lead. Doesn't matter
Yeah,
what
and
it is. Yeah.
I,
So
I think if someone had asked him, he probably would have said that was his least fun role
yeah.
because
yeah,
it was stereotypical. It was just, one noted kind of thing where he brought different levels to everything he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. He
So,
definitely wasn't. And yeah, even with his Predator and with his Rocky films, the back to Rocky, he yeah, he was like the big tough contender, but he had there's so many story arcs within the
Hmm.
movies with him, and
He's the villain in the first two movies, and he
right.
becomes the lead character, like the hero in the third
That's
and
what I'm saying.
yeah,
the
There's just
fourth. Yeah.
the complicated story arc, and he loved that. It wasn't
Hmm.
just a two-dimensional character. Just like I think Rocky was probably one of the first films where like the lead didn't win, you know?
Yeah. It wasn't about
yeah,
winning. Yeah. That
yeah,
wasn't the
yeah.
point. Yeah. Although
Well,
Rocky
and
2
and
undoes that.
well, well, barely, but it was just barely.
Yeah.
You kind of Rocky Two kind of put them at even because
Yeah.
the villain won the first one, the hero won the second one, but the villain wasn't the villain. And
Right.
then they were, they let it, they set it up for the transformation in the
Yeah.
later
Yeah.
movies. And it was interesting that Stallone, his tribute about how Carl Weathers was. Without him, that doesn't go, and
Hmm.
Exactly.
none of this happens.
Yeah. There's
So
also there's a bit that's in the third is the third Creed movie? No, it's in the first one. Where when Adonis Creed goes to meet Rocky for the first time, Adonis Creed asks, "My dad told me about a time when you and he were fighting, and it was just you two alone. Who won?" And it's
mm,
the end fight from Rocky 3, where it just
yeah,
ends with them about
yeah,
to punch each other, and they never said who won. And Rocky goes, "He
yeah,
did." Like Apollo Creed was the better fighter. It's just
yeah.
Rocky got
Well,
lucky in the second movie. That's it. He just got lucky.
yeah. I mean, it was clear that he was the better fighter all the time.
Oh yeah, like
Oh yeah.
there's that line in the
Yeah,
third movie. He's like, "Yeah, you fight great, but I'm a great fighter."
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
So
Uh, yeah, it was very sudden when he passed away. Like apparently he passed away from what was it that he passed away from? What was
Yeah, I
it?
haven't seen an update on his.
yeah, me neither. I thought,
Atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. Basically, it is a disease where uh, lesions develop inside the walls of your arteries and essentially tighten them up. Essentially, it's like basically being choked to death without being choked,
oh,
and he just died
in,
peacefully in his sleep.
in his sleep. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's a
Wow.
shame.
Well, at least it was peacefully in his
I
sleep.
was
That's
I was
Yeah,
just gonna say, like,
yeah,
thank goodness it was in his sleep because something like that could be awful.
yeah.
So
traumatic. Yeah.
I think that's similar to what happened to I think George Carlin. I think he passed away
mm,
from something similar where he just suddenly out of nowhere he just you're like I don't feel so good, and he just kind of held his chest and he felt like he was choking, and then he just a couple hours later he was just dead.
Mm,
So yeah, so
wow.
can't beat the clock, unfortunately.
no.
No,
So
undefeated.
time travel happens in one direction, one day at a time, 24 hours at a time. So
Yeah.
yeah, uh, so going back to Chubbs, let's get to the cake and ice cream. Um,
I was gonna
so
say, I was
is
like, I
this
know you're just waiting.
so is this his funniest role or his role on Arrested Development funnier? Which one is
Ah,
better?
it's two different roles because
I know, but
Chubbs is
it's
like a character,
I,
but
I,
like
I,
with
I,
Arrested
I don't
Development,
know.
it's him.
I know it's
So-
him. It's a fictionalized version of him, but it's funny that
I feel like the Arrested Development is the funnier one because it's him.
yeah.
And Chubbs, you have the hand gimmick and that stuff. The Arrested Development is all him, and I
Mm,
think it's a nice display of him being funny.
yeah.
right, because he's like, your wife, she works at a restaurant. Does she get a shift meal or she get a discount? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Mr. Weathers. Well, let's go find out.
It's always trying to get a discount on a meal.
You know what?
Yeah,
Burger King, you can get a free refill of your drink for free.
I mean, if I almost want to say it could almost subconsciously be a tribute throwback to Chris Rock's character on SNL. It's like, can I just get the bubbles from the Coke? How much for just the bubbles?
Oh God.
Oh,
Same thing,
we're
same
we're
thing.
just getting a stew on. It's fine. We're just getting a
Yeah.
stew on. I don't know
God,
what that is, but it sounds bad.
mixing a broth and throwing a potato. You got a stew.
Oh, that's
Jesus
it.
Christ. Was Carl Weathers ever on Saturday Night Live? I feel like he wasn't.
I don't
Was he ever on?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
I don't think
I can
so.
look up his because it would be under it would be under self, but
Oh yeah, he was. He was on Saturday Night Live. Holy shit. Yeah, he was on Saturday Night Live. Wow.
He
How
was?
about that? Yeah, he was. Apparently he was. It was in film brethren Carl Weathers host the 1988 episode. Wow. So it was
Wow.
like around the time of the Rocky movies. So yeah.
okay. I was gonna say so
Okay.
it was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was back when he was like big because of the Rocky films. Yeah, I think that was right after Rocky 4 had happened. 19 Oh, that was right after Predator. So and Action Jackson came out in 1988. So that's kind of what
Okay. So it was
so
at
it
the
was
Okay.
around
height
that time. Yeah.
of.
Now I'm
So
gonna
yeah,
have to
Rocky
go back and try and watch that episode.
yeah. Rocky 4 was apparently before Predator? Wow. Okay. That's interesting. I thought it was after. Strange.
Hmm.
Although I have not seen the director's cut of Rocky 4 yet. I don't really have much interest.
Once you get past 3, yeah, you just
Well,
yeah.
I mean, if you go down all this stuff, he was. I mean, you're going back far. He was on the Mike Douglas show,
hmm
the John Davidson show, the Merv Griffin show. So he
Yeah.
was
Lots of
in that
CV stuff.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of CV stuff.
well, that was like
Which,
primetime TV
yeah. Yeah.
era. That was the era of
Yeah, like
Yeah.
$6 million Man and Kung Fu, Starsky and Hutch, Barnaby Jones, yeah, Quinn Martin's
He
Tales
did
of the
all.
Unexpected. It's like a lot of this is a lot of television stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
He did a lot of a lot of co-stars.
Mhm.
yeah, one off shows and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He was in the Shield. I forgot he was in the Shield for a little bit. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. He did. He did a lot. I
He
mean,
was
you go all the way back.
I was
He
about to
was
say
in Good Times.
he was his
Mm,
working actor like he said he wanted to be.
What he
yeah.
wanted to be. Yeah. Good Times, Kung Fu, $6 Million Man, SWAT,
Yep.
hmm
McCloud.
McLeod. Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear McLeod and I immediately think Highlander.
Oh god.
uh That was fun making you watch Highlander too.
Shut up,
hmm
Jesse.
You're
But
welcome.
you didn't enjoy it?
I knew how bad it was. I didn't. Nobody else on the episode knew, so I did it just to screw with everyone.
Oh, okay.
I stopped at Highlander 1 until he came in.
Yep, Highlander 1 is a good place to stop. You can stop right there.
Yeah.
So the TV show
I
has
made
some
it.
good stuff in it.
I made it through halfway through Highlander 2, and I stopped.
Yep, that's a good decision.
That's halfway
You,
more than you should have watched, but okay.
yeah, yeah,
When your
yeah,
eyes kind of just glaze over, it's just like,
Yeah.
all right, let's go. We're moving on.
yeah.
Did you at least get to the shopping montage with Sean
Mm.
Connery?
Oh, jeez.
No, I did not.
That was the only part of the movie I enjoyed was him like shopping, and it was like a little shopping montage of like, oh look at this, oh look at that, la 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 la
Just from that reenactment, I'm going to say I made the right decision not making it tonight.
The
Um,
sad thing is that was the best part.
that's sad. That is sad.
Oh,
Oh God. All right. So, what's everybody's favorite role of his? Everybody, pick your favorite thing.
guess first, my dear.
Oh man. Um, I'm going to say it's a tie because each one shows the different sides of him. His Arrested Development, and I believe it was Rocky 3 or
Hmm.
4, Apollo
Okay.
Creed. Um, because I just Rocky 1 and 2, yes, he was great,
Yeah.
Right.
but when you got to 3 and 4 is when you actually got to see him be everything and then try and promote. And
Yeah.
that, I think it was 4 because that was Drago, right? That was 4.
4 is
I
the one
think.
where he gets killed off. Yeah,
Yeah.
where he
Yeah,
gets killed in
yeah.
the ring.
Uh, I
3
I
is when he's
feel like
training Rocky.
yeah. So 3 is when it's training Rocky. So you have the transition, but 4 was when you saw the champion in a desperate place,
Yes.
and the juxtaposition of this great, everything's perfect for him and everything works, and he's desperately trying to get something, and begs him not to stop the fight, and gets killed, but he's killed because he just was so desperate to get back to where he was.
Right.
That kind of thing was just, I felt like that was some of his best acting, was being that great and being that desperate at the same time.
Mm.
That's a good point. No, yeah, it showed a lot of
Yeah.
range for him, and it was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. It's also there's a lot of it kind of became the butt of some jokes in Rocky 3 where it's the most unintentionally homoerotic film of the 1980s. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
It's fine.
But yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
It was a time.
all good. What about
That's
you?
the kind of stew I want to jump into.
What about you, Hope? What's the favorite one?
Oh, I also do have a tie. I think it's gonna be, like, across the board, his Arrested Development stuff,
Mhm.
again, because it's such a character, even if you never watched the show really,
Yeah.
or you just see
He
a
wasn't
part
even
of
in
it.
many episodes.
It
He
was
was only
4
like what?
episodes. It was
Yeah, it's
4
not
Mm.
episodes,
much.
and the thing is when you're guest starring on a show and you're not even in that many episodes, but you leave such an impact,
Yeah.
whether it's dramatic, comedic, whatever, you come in for a short time and he honestly, I love Arrested Development. Like I've watched it through and through, but when
First 3 seasons, let's clarify.
yes, yes.
What?
But
4th season? They didn't make a 4th season. They didn't make one. No,
but the thing is I it all of his scenes always left such an impact on me. Like when I think of Arrested Development, I don't think of Michael Bluth. I don't think of, Job. I think you gotta make a stew. It's just sits there, and,
it's so
and
stupid.
it's so stupid, but I love it so much.
But
Um,
I think
It's the kind
it
of thing
shows how.
it's the kind of thing that would fit into something like I Think You Should Leave on Netflix. It's the kind of joke that's so absurdist and so out of context. It makes it funny. It's like it's so
But I think
goddamn dumb.
also a tribute to what he did was because once his character was gone, there was, I don't know, maybe not for anyone else, but for me it was like, oh, okay, so now what's going to happen? Like it was so
right.
looking forward to
Yeah.
seeing. He was so funny. It was just like, yeah, get back to him, get back to him. What's he going to do
Exactly.
next? Kind of thing.
And
They
then
should have just made him a series regular. They should
I
have
think
just
they
They
kept
should
should
him.
have.
have.
They
They
should
sh
have. They should have.
But, for my other tie, I don't know if you can,
I wonder what it
could tell
Hmm.
if, you could yeah, whatever. It was his Mandalorian stuff,
Yeah.
again, he was supposed to be a bit character for, like, a couple episodes in the first season, and he
Mm.
became a series regular throughout the entirety of the show, and again, he went through his own arcs. He was just like a bounty hunter, a head for hire, like manager of it all, and then he turned into the high magistrate. Like before he only cared about money, and then he started to care about his community. He's like, "Yeah, that used to be a bar, it's now a school. I'm so happy." And it's like, "Well, that's a 180." And it just, not only did he show the dramatics of like helping Mando and everything, but there also was a lot of comedic moments,
Mm.
how
Do the
again,
hand
yeah, do
thingy.
the magic hand thingy, and
Yeah.
he's like, "God damn it." but
I'm out of ideas.
But then also when in later seasons, he when Mando comes and visits again, he's like, I don't care about you. Where's my baby? Has Mando been taking good care of you? Has he? No, he hasn't." And then just like coddles this baby, and he's just like, "This is my baby now. This is my baby." And like he even gets like the IG robot and fixes it up for
IG-88, yeah.
yeah, for Grogu, and he's like, "Oh," he's like the fun grandpa, as I like to say. He's like, "Oh, let him take it for a spin. You wouldn't let me do that. Ah, it's my grandkid. It's fine." Like
I love the fact that he turned IG-88 into a fucking Gundam for Grogu. That's just the best. He's a fucking Gundam. God damn it.
no, no,
Uh,
no, no, yes. But yeah, it just showed like went from this gruff dude to, like I said, just fun-loving grandpa, and it
mm,
it was just fantastic.
yeah. The one thing
I
I
see,
don't
I see,
like
like,
the one thing I don't like about that character is the character's name is Grief. I'm like, really?
And
Okay.
that's not like it was his choice.
Dumb Star Wars names number 125. Jeez.
What were you gonna say,
Can't they just
Daryl?
go ahead? What are you saying?
I was just going to say that the Mandalorian that you just described, how he started and how he became, is that not Apollo Creed?
No,
I
yeah.
don't care about
Oh,
anything
yeah.
but living.
It's Space
Now I care
Apollo
about
Creed.
helping you and helping everybody. It's Space Apollo Creed.
Yeah. Starts out as the villain, eventually becomes the
Hmm.
hero of the series. Yeah.
Hmm.
Helping the main character ascend to, a
Yeah,
better life. Yeah, it's the same character arc. How about that? He had a thing. All right, for
and he was
me,
very good at it.
yeah,
Yes,
he was very good at it. Yeah. For me, well, Chubbs. I gotta say Chubbs.
of
It's back
course.
when Adam Sandler was making good comedies and wasn't selling out. Um,
Happy Madison days.
in the Happy Madison days, yeah, just the scene where he's trying to teach him how to putt. And he's like, "It's all in the hips. It's all in the
Go to your happy place.
Go,
hips."
go, yes.
God. I love the bit when he's like in the afterlife and he's like, "Shut up, Pappy. Don't feel bad about me. I got my hand back. See? Yet the piano's
Oh
still
yeah.
playing. He's taking his hands away. The piano's still playing. It's like, I get it. I get it. It's a funny joke." God. Oh yeah. And I'd probably say the second one is oh god. It's as much as I love his performance in Predator, he's only in it for about like maybe half of it. So I can't really count that one. Probably his Apollo Creed character. Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say you could still count it. We both Daryl and I said Arrested Development, and
That's
he was in
true.
4
Oh, that's
It's
episodes.
only in
true.
4 episodes.
That's
It's probably
true.
the same
So
accumulated
That's
screen
true.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
but yeah, his Apollo Creed character really be just that massive arc between all four of those those first four films. Yeah, that's really interesting to see how he goes from being egotistical. He gets humbled in the second one. He gets humbled again at the end of the second one. Becomes a mentor in the third, and then tries to get his ego back in the fourth one. Ends up paying for it. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah. And then they built a whole spin-off series based around that character with the sequel
yeah,
series. So, yeah.
yeah. That tells you how big of an impact he had on that whole thing.
The fact that the entire franchise technically revolves around Apollo Creed. Really,
Yeah,
he's the
right.
more important character. Without Apollo, you wouldn't Rocky would still be just like working as a mob guy on the
yeah.
docks in Philadelphia.
Well, not
Yeah.
just that, but
Collecting.
the impact on pop culture he's had in general
Yeah.
too, not just because
Yeah,
of those roles.
Mhm.
Like, do you know how it's just crazy to think the impact he's had,
Hmm.
just for these roles. Whether it's, whether Rocky's not your thing, whether Star Wars isn't your thing, you know, just the impact he's had because of these roles. There's a lot of actors out there who are like they're famous or well known, but I feel like he's had a lot more impact because of it, because of his range, because of where he came from, where he's been. He's again gonna go back to Arrested Development where they made him. They didn't get another actor. They got Carl Weathers.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
specifically found Carl Weathers and said, "Yes, we would like you to play yourself in this show, a sort of heightened, exaggerated version of yourself." Sure, I could do that.
yeah, yeah,
And
Absolutely.
there's a reason for that.
Yeah. He embraced the silliness of that. Yeah,
yeah.
mix in a potato, put in some broth, you got yourself stew.
And I think that the impact comes from what he said about wanting to be a working actor. He
Yes.
wanted to just
Yeah.
be, let me just work, let me just do this stuff. And then everybody he met absolutely loved working with him and wanted to work with him as much as possible.
Hmm. Yeah, the
So,
opposite end of the spectrum is somebody like a Tom Cruise, where it's like, I just do
yeah,
action now. I just do
yeah,
this. I am action man. It's like, whereas with like, imagine Tom Cruise showing up playing himself in Arrested Development. He wouldn't embrace the jokes.
no, no.
Closest we
The
got to that
closest,
was Tropic Thunder, where he's basically playing like the angry version of himself in that audio that leaked out on set during COVID. He's basically just playing himself there.
Oh
So it's
gosh.
the
yes.
joke of Tropic Thunder isn't that fun anymore because realize, oh, that's just him. That's
Yeah.
just him. Yeah. So
And even then, you had to put a lot of makeup on him for to do it.
yeah, the
Right.
digital de aging, that's a thing. Don't know if you guys realize that digital de aging. A lot of actors in Hollywood use that. They don't like looking their age.
Lifts in the shoes and
Oh yeah, I remember an interview with Nicole Kidman after her divorce. She was on Letterman. She was just like, "Yeah, I can wear heels now. I
Uh,
get it."
um, the
Oh.
insecurity is real.
Yeah,
I was
it
gonna say
is.
Carl didn't give a shit about any of that.
No, he didn't care. Yeah,
He
it is
didn't.
unfortunate that we're not going to see him coming back to that character returning in the Mandalorian movie that's supposed to be coming out in a couple of years.
Hmm. Don't make me
Well,
see it.
yeah. Well, I mean, Yo Grief is still out there running that colony. He's still doing his thing, unlike Gina Carano's character who's been killed off. So, it's- has it been confirmed that that character is dead? Has it been confirmed?
Not 100%, but it's
No.
heavily implied.
Well, we'll see what happens with the lawsuit. Jesus. My bingo card of 2024 did not include suing somebody because you quit a show. It's like that did not fit into my bingo card of 2024.
Why not? Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh,
yeah,
God.
yeah. Anything goes now.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
yeah. I think we've covered it. I think, yeah, it's a loss to the community of acting that Carl isn't with us anymore. So we typically don't do this whenever actors pass away, but it's just like we enjoyed seeing him on screen so much. We just like, yeah, we've got to point this out.
yeah.
And to
There's
be a
no
black
way
actor to have that longevity in his career, it was a big thing going from early 70s up till
into his
Yeah,
70s.
into his
yeah,
70s and ending with the Mandalorian. Like I think the Mandalorian was the last thing
Yeah.
he was in. Besides, I think we did like a Super Bowl ad where they put in
yeah. The Super Bowl commercial, they
they
changed
put
it for, yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
think that was the last thing he did before he passed.
But
yeah.
yeah, I
So
I
And
it was fantastic. Again, just like Jesse said, we don't normally do this. We'll do like, favorite like how we're gonna do the summer Schwarzenegger, but that's
yeah.
still around. But
yeah,
you know, again, how I said before, I think Carl had such a pop culture impact more so
Mhm.
than
yeah,
most people. There's a lot of actors I admire who are great actors, but just Carl Weathers just was really just such an impact. I can't even describe it.
Yeah.
He was so impactful.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and everything because of the way he approached it and the way that he was never, as much as they tried to kind of typecast him early on,
Mhm.
he transcended that. And that's why the pop culture effect has happened because he's gone on to all these different things
Yeah.
where you didn't normally see a black actor doing? And he did it, and he all did everything with intelligence, style, and just being himself and humility. And he was always willing to have fun. So
Mhm.
that's something that you can't let go by without making a mention of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Totally agree. Like
Yeah.
that's what I think all actors should aspire to be, is just like humbled like that. You know,
Yeah,
he had a great career, but he was very humbled by it. He wasn't like, "Oh, look at me," like,
yeah.
and
He
that's
was
why
never.
we
He
talk
was.
about him and not somebody else.
Yeah. He wasn't like seeking out like big movies after like Rocky and Predator. Is like he just went and did smaller stuff after that. He kind of just like he's a working actor. It's like I'm not gonna don't just give me big blockbuster stuff. Don't give me action stuff all the time. Give me other stuff. That's
Yeah.
what a working actor does. And the last thing I'll say is that I was at the gym last week, and
Oh, yeah.
I go to Gold's Gym in Crofton, Maryland, and
Oh, okay.
they
Let the
have like
people know where to stalk you, Jesse.
yes, they have like signed autograph photos of people that actually train with Gold's Gym across the country, and so is like there's like major actors and such. And one of them was Carl Weathers. I was just doing my workout, and I looked up, and there's his photo right above me as I was working
Mm,
out. Yeah, it was like a couple days
nice.
after he passed away. I was like, well, shit, there it is. And
I'll
I
have to
believe it
go
is
check that
actually
out.
signed by him. I mean, it is just a print, so he just like actors will sign like 100
Yeah,
different prints
yeah.
and send them out. It's like, but it is still signed by him. So,
Oh, okay.
so yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Nice.
gonna have to go in
So,
there and steal that photo one day.
heist plan. Let's go.
Yeah, there's nobody in there at 4 o'clock in the morning. I can figure it out.
Well, like I said, uh I don't unfortunately have a drink to pour one out to one's homies, but
Mm, I have
uh
coffee. Pour one
I
out.
you're right. But again, I'm so glad we had Daryl on. Like I said, Daryl did like a little tribute thing on his Instagram and all, and I was like, I need Daryl to come back and talk about this. Daryl's a working actor himself. I love him to death. So it was just perfect collaboration. Um, yeah, just end of a saga for a great man, and I'm glad that the three of us could get together and talk about him. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, it was really nice. It was nice to kind of go over his career. It's really
yeah.
hmm
nice. Yeah,
yeah. And what a career it was.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
actually, I didn't realize how big and long it was until you talk about it. Talk about
Right.
no,
how many years he's been working.
he was prolific. He was a working actor. He kept going.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So
And
That's what I aspire to.
there
yeah,
you go. You're on your way, man. You're on your way.
yeah.
All right. So I think with that, we're all going to say a fond farewell to the great Carl Weathers. And we'll say goodnight on this episode. And we'll see you next time.
See you on the next one. Rest in peace, Carl.
Bye, my
All
love.
right.
Mm.